Reports from beyond the stars. You're the Jamesons? Come on in. I'm afraid not all news is, well, I've seen a lot of these messages home, and this one is one of the weird ones, the receptionist says, and the small family looks from one to the other in confusion. That's implying that you've seen this video message before us. Why? Emma Jameson asks, and the receptionist sighs. There are at least 4 layers of protection and information filtration on these. The situation is very delicate, so we're trying to make sure that no one does something stupid and kick off World War III. Every message has at least 4 layers of examination, first from the person making it going over it. Then the intelligence division on the Dauntless did. Then the crew of the Lance gave everything a once-over, followed by people like me. The ones that are flagged as sensitive get another 3 levels from the government, the military, and then all a cryptologist. We're being careful. Your boy's got a full 10 layers in that the head of intelligence, the Admiral Cistern and Admiral Lee, the man in charge of the next mission, looked over it as well. Your son is moving in powerful circles. Meaning our boy's moving in powerful circles, she says, and there's a nod. Oh yes, if he ever comes back to Earth. Well, if he ever wants to. Most of the reports I've been going over show men being almost criminally happy. I've been looking for signs of drugging, but aside from most of them looking really relaxed and happy, there's no constant symptom, no twitching, no dilated pupils, no nothing. I guess they're all just getting laid on the regular, and that'll put any man in a good mood. Really, Emma says in a flat tone as Charlie, her husband, chuckles into his hand. She elbows him and he waves it off in amusement. Emma, he's a full-grown man. He's going to have a sex life and it's none of our business. I just don't want him to be like... Emma trails off and Charlie hugs her gently. I know that man hurt you, but we know that there's a lot more good in Herbert than what happened. He's a good kid and has been a hell of an older brother. So he's caught up in the dangerous stuff. I'm sure he can handle it. It's Herbert, Charlie says, and Emma nods. Although to be fair, it's probably best that it's just you and me. After all, being introduced to alien wife after alien wife of Herbert might be a bit much for the girls. Hallmark moment aside, can we get moving? I've got a few more people today and you guys are at the front of the queue, the receptionist says and gets a slight glare from Emma, but it has all the effectiveness of a spitball against tank armor. They're bundled into a room with a projector in the ceiling, and both Charlie and Emma sit next to each other as the lights dim and... Has he already got a son? Charlie asks, as he sees a very familiar young teenager in a formal button-up shirt and vest regarding the camera as he fiddles with his topmost button. He's wearing gloves and looks like he's training to be a butler in some rich man's estate, or maybe getting ready to work for the Queen of England. Do I have to dress like this? He asks someone to his left. It's a neutral outfit that gives away little, while allowing you plenty of room to hide tools and weapons. It is something you need to get used to. There's a large and long beep to cover up whatever was said, but younger Herbert nods in response. Right. Very good. First things first. The elephant in the room, due to an incident that... He looks to his left. I am not allowed to speak of. I was made the... He looks to the left again and sighs. The beneficiary of the alien medical technology. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, or some way or the other, I am now 14 years old again. 13 and a half, by my reckoning. The loud beep comes up again, signifying that someone's clearly talking to Herbert. I stand corrected, Herbert says with a sigh. All right, I'm currently not allowed to say what I'm doing, or, nope, not allowed to say where either. My day-to-day activities are classified, and as you can probably tell, this is going to be a hell of conversation, as I'm not sure if confirming my identity is operationally secure. It is. There's a loud beep and Herbert nods. I know it actually isn't, but I'm going to count that as a win. so I'm not allowed to tell you what I'm doing, how I'm doing, or where I'm doing it. May I please have a list of safe subjects? Herbert asks to the side, and instantly an arm snaps out. It's from a man in a suit and gloves and is holding a single card out for Herbert to take. He examines it and offers an unimpressed look at the source of the arm. Really? Yes, is the answer of the beep, and Herbert turns the card over to reveal the word nothing on it. You know what? Screw it, Herbert says, ripping up the card. If it's so damned important, I'll censor it in the editing process. I need to talk. He tosses the shredded card over his shoulder and looks right at the camera. Right after I was assigned to asterisk poke at the more unusual alien laws asterisk and asterisk falling afoul of them. I asterisk woke up in the middle of a gangbang asterisk with asterisk alien horrors. Asterisk and asterisk promptly panicked. I then asterisk escaped asterisk as best I could, but that led me to a asterisk 1,000-story drop where I bounced asterisk and needed to go to the hospital. Not my best moment. His every censored word also covers his mouth with a black box in it as well, so his lips can't be read. After I awoke, I found myself to be asterisk legally married to 100 different alien women that walked out of a horror-themed strip joint from the looks asterisk of them, and all of them asterisk just a couple of years older than my new physical age. Needless to say, I was flabbergasted, as I suspected the previous events to be, as a dream. You wax loquacious and flowery when frustrated. It is a habit I will have to help you break. The person off to the side says again in all their censored glory. Right. Will that be before or after asterisk you teach me the finer points of stabbing someone in the spine? Herbert asks while they can't make out what he says. It's very clear from his body language that there's a lot of sarcasm in it. During. The person answers, and clearly it was not what Herbert was expecting. Okay, Herbert says, looking off. Well, asterisk they look like monsters, act like schoolgirls, and there are goddamn facehuggers running around minus the wang. It's as messed up as it sounds. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time, but I figure if I keep working at it, I'll get some answers. Who knows? Maybe I'll have some fun while I'm at it. This isn't about fun, it's about effective. A man in your field needs to get results. Otherwise, your operations will be annulled, and an enormous amount of resources and man-hours will go to waste. Perhaps even lives will be wasted. Yes, sir, Herbert says solemnly. Well, this next part is going to be nothing but censored, so I'll be adding a little bit of it for no reason beyond my own amusement. I'll leave it up to you on whether or not what I said was something sensitive or something completely unimportant. At least he's taking this in good humor, Charlie remarks as Herbert grins and glances at the person who's no doubt monitoring him, who audibly sighs. So after my failed attempt to sneak into an arrangement system to snub the laws involved and use that as an excuse for political pressure, and my ensuing kidnapping, rape, and near-death incident that I still cannot fully recall and have no desire to, I ran afoul of the more unpleasant laws of the galaxy that make it so that men attempting to initiate divorce with people who live in an arrangement system is nigh on impossible. So I was stuck with the 100 idiots who can't tell the difference between a borderline comatose man and a willing one. Mr. Jameson. The other voice cuts him off. Have I misspoken? Only in that this will be heavily censored and redacted. It was going to be anyways, so anyways I'm asterisk living in the embassy of Ambassador Hlayla of the Versi system as a sort of recompense, as it was exclusively with citizens from her system that I've been forcibly married to. All told, the girls are very timid, thoroughly chastised, and very eager to make amends with no knowledge on how to do so. I'm being told this is kindergarten levels for learning how to manipulate people, but I still feel like a sleaze for it in spite of the justified rage I can't completely smother. It is good that you recognize the anger and the justness of it. Even better that you rebel against your initial instincts. There are few faster ways to be uncovered as a member of intelligence than wearing your heart on your sleeve. Or rather, no faster way than actually wearing your heart on your sleeve. Feigning something is often a much better idea. So, what should I pretend to be afraid of these stupid little crab things? Herbert asks as he visibly shifts and something thumps before skittering away. Actually, that might not be a bad idea. At least it'll be more easily justified than trying to sick the girls on each other or some other messed up mind game. There you are, baby steps. You need to learn to crawl before you walk before you can run. And running is important in this line of work if for no other reason than to get you away from the soon-to explode, mangled hulk of a vehicle that you were just forced off-road in. I have so many questions. Do well, and I might grace you with some answers. Okay then. Asterisk. This is a random bit of censorship for my own amusement. I just realized I was so busy with a confessional, I forgot to have some fun. Perhaps you should focus more on obfuscation than entertainment. I suppose censor this here. Asterisk. There, that'll keep everyone guessing for a bit and make them think we let something slip through. Very good, but perhaps a few lies to mix in with the protection, a false lead, or 3, or asterisk a misdirection. That sounds grand. Well, suffice to say, and is this next bit allowed? Herbert asks to his handler and clearly gets some kind of result. I've been learning how to drive the local vehicles and navigate the insanely heavily populated planet that is Centris, which is important on a planet that, despite having a staggering variety of both peoples and people, they still all turn their heads when a man walks among them, let alone a man so young as to be easily taken advantage of, which I look like. Needless to say, I need an escort out in public. Joy. Which is why we'll be starting your training in the other areas soon enough. Really? Because I was looking forward to the asterisk stealth training asterisk. Young man, I don't think you're taking this all too seriously. An old and proper voice says from off-screen. I've just been reminded of the sheer absurdity of my situation. If the wall were to peel open like a banana, I wouldn't question it at this point. Well, that certainly makes what's about to happen next much easier, the proper old man says, and Herbert gives him a confused look. What's happening next? Herbert asks as the video fades away. Training. The proper sounding voice says in the alien language with a single white subtitle, to illuminate it and make sure no one misses it. That was deliberate. Why did they put that in? Charlie asks in surprise. Mind games. He's part of military intelligence. This is Herbert practicing his own abilities as much as telling us anything. Emma says slowly. Their other person there must be his teacher or something. So he's gotten caught up in something that's put him in an intelligence division while also making him a child again. At least he's not living a boring life, Charlie remarks in a slightly stunned tone. Oh no. Now my mind's going to the Philip files. The what? Declassified documents that detail the missions of a British super spy. It's right out of James Bond. The man legitimately did some of the things that the more absurd movies had. I think it's nonsense, but my mind's just going there. Well, what do we tell everyone else? He's caught up in serious spy bits. He'd have told us everything, but then would have had to kill us? Charlie asks, and Emma elbows him in the side. What? Charlie, Emma scolds him as she fights down some giggles. I hope he's all right. He's part of a team, a crack team. He may have been made young again, but he's still got his training. I guess